Today is another episode of I've Got a Guy. I have a passion for old houses, how to live in them, how to buy them, and how to sell them. Today we're going to talk about concrete with my guy, Beau Hahn. There's Beau now. So we're in Brookside, and we have some unusual things that we don't have. We have old concrete. So what do we do to replace that?
You guys typically have old concrete covered by old asphalt, and so creates a lot of problems or hazards, especially this time of year. We get a little bit of ice or snow. The other problem is with the older driveways, a lot of times they're settled, water's going to the wrong places, sloping towards the house or back towards a driveway or a garage, and it's just not getting the water out, which will lead to more problems on the current driveway.
Well, other than driveways, what else do we have problems with?
Tree roots.
Okay.
Typically in an old neighborhood, large trees tend to move our sidewalks, stairs. Settling, you know, you're dealing with houses and stuff that's 100 years old. Some of it's still original, or it's original and it's been covered up multiple times.
Okay.
And just can create all kinds of issues. Concrete's a hard product. Its typical life cycle is 30 years.
Oh,
so
really?
If people are getting 50, 60 years out of it.
100 years.
100 years, then they've gotten their money's worth out of what was originally done. And that's probably somebody took care of it, sealing it, maybe not every year. Obviously, ideally you do it every year, but realistically a good sealer is going to last a couple.
Okay.
So if you're doing those kind of preventative things, that'll help things last longer.
Tell us about Brookside Driveways.
Typically what we find is a layer of concrete that's probably original to the house. Sometimes it might be just two ribbons going out because it was built close to 100 years ago and that's what they needed. And then on top of those ribbons might be another layer of concrete that was probably done in the 30s or 40s. And then probably one or two layers of asphalt that was laid in the 50s, 60s, or 70s.
So it just gets thicker.
Thicker, thicker. As the driveways have settled, it gets thicker. And so
water goes
wherever it wants to go.
Okay.
And that's one reason why sometimes we're kicking water towards our house or maybe our neighbor's house that we don't intend.
So you've got multiple layers in a Brookside driveway, and you show up on day one to do it. What do you start with?
You'll probably see a dump truck show up, and then a skid steer, bobcat, a breaker, bucket, and a couple guys, and it's gonna be loud, noisy, and messy. And we'll typically try and start at the back and work our way out.
Okay.
Sometimes site restraints don't let us do that, but that's ideal. That way you're not tearing up more stuff. So that, depending on the job and the driveway and how many layers you've got, that could take one day or it could take 2 or 3, just kind of depends. Then we would look at, do we need to bring in some rock to address the subgrade? Is it settled? How many layers do we remove? And are we trying to match an existing garage elevation or a step or stair coming out of the house? And what do we need to do for that? As well as what do we need to do to make sure we are shedding the water away from our structures on our property. Then we start forming it up. And we bring in the rock to bring the subgrade up or remove some you might have bad soils or soils that shouldn't be under there because it was done 50, 60. Put the base down, compact it, make sure it's good and solid, put our reinforcing in, dowel into any structures that need to be doweled into so that the concrete doesn't move differentially. And then we'll pour the driveway or sidewalk or stairs, and 5 to 7 days later, you can be driving on it. You can probably walk on the next day.
Okay. Sometimes here in Brookside, we get what I'll call a fly-by-night kind of contractor, and they roll up. What are we looking for? Because I know that you're my guy, and that you're the person I call for concrete.
Any contractor that wants money up front, probably not your guy. I typically look for a nice logoed truck, because that means they're probably proud of who they are.
Okay.
If they've got that, then chances are they're insured. But I would ask, hey, are you insured? And then I'd ask to see it. Any of those guys, they can get it. They'll have to call their insurance guy. Typically, you could ask for an insurance cert for your own property. It doesn't cost anything. Whether they say it does or not, it doesn't. I call my insurance guy all the time and say, hey, I need a cert for this job. And we give it to the homeowner, and they feel it's something for them to have some comfort, peace of mind.
So other than driveways, what does Bedrock Concrete handle?
We will do sidewalks, patios, stamp patios, home additions, we will put in the stem walls or the new slab or whatever you got going on for the home addition.
So we talk about curb appeal here in Brookside if we're going to sell a house. So if something's kind of bad looking when you walk up to the door, what am I going to do when I call you?
We'd probably show up, take a look at it. If it's the stairs and they were crumbling like your postman stairs, we'd probably tear it out. Not a huge process. Takes a day or so to tear stuff out, get it formed back up, and then another day to pour it, and then, you know, so a 3 to 5 day process, and you can have your front porch and stairs all redone and looks great from the curb.
Thank you for coming out, Beau. It's a little bad out here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And if any of your homeowners ever want to get a hold of me, feel free to give us a call at our office at 913-393-0935. Or you can look at us on our website at www.bedrockconcretellc.com, and we're also on Facebook. Thanks again, Ellen.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll see you.
This has been another episode of I've Got a Guy. I'm Ellen Zetmeir, and I'll see you around the neighborhood.